Hello, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero with a quick weather update across the country from coast to coast here a little bit for the week ahead. So, the way I'm going to really structure this video is we're going to start with the worst weather in the lower 48 first, and then we're going to go to the most stable, which is probably going to be here weather. So, worst to best. All right, so let's talk about it.
All right, a quick peek here out into the Desert Weather Lab. So taking a quick peek here on the national radar, there's a couple of areas we're looking at. There's a little bit over the northern coast of the U.S. there going into Canada. There's a little bit that's going to be through the northeast, and a lot of it right around the Gulf of Mexico. That is what we're going to spend most of our time talking about, which right now on the radar, it doesn't look like there's too much happening. It looks like just some standard just rain bands. However, that is going to be not the case because this is all part of a tropical system, Tropical Storm Milton, that will strengthen, but we'll talk about that over there a little later. Now, to get a little bit of a better picture, let's take a look at the satellite right now. So we do see some clouds up along the northern part of the U.S. there, a little bit in the northeast, and nothing over California. So let's spend our time, as I mentioned, in this area. So we do see it's unorganized right now in terms of the clouds, but it looks like what we can define is we have the counterclockwise rotation right there, and we do have some outflow. So that means even though it doesn't look like it's organized at the moment, it's organizing itself. Because over here on the National Hurricane Center, what we are seeing are three systems: Leslie, Kirk, and Milton. Hurricane Leslie and Hurricane Kirk, non-issues for anywhere in the U.S. Milton, this is going to be the one we're going to focus on right now. So let's take a look at the cone that the National Hurricane Center has put out. So right now, as I showed before, Tropical Storm Milton. So it looks like this is going to be turning into a hurricane by about 1 a.m. Monday. And again, with the cone, we're not following the center. The eye of the system can be anywhere within this cone. So this cone of uncertainty is mathematical probabilities of where the center of the eye is going to be. And all this, so it's tropical storm, hurricane, major hurricane. So what the National Hurricane Service is saying, by 1 p.m. Tuesday, this is going to be a major hurricane pretty much in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico there. And by 1 p.m. Wednesday, major hurricane, as it looks like it's making a landfall somewhere along the west coast of Florida. So what does this look like? Well, let's head over to the good old tropical tidbits now, and let's take a look at this. So there's the system kind of right now, a little bit disorganized. There's the center of the low. And we are looking at the GFS right now. I am recording this the night before, so this is the 18Z run on October 5th. And let's advance a little bit. So it pretty much amplifies really quickly there. And it goes from, let's see what the first reading we get in the center there. It's tightening up very quickly. So it's 1010. So that would be 1004. So it's not that impressive there, but by the time it really intensifies right there, 988 millibar. Not a major system just yet. It's probably right there. It's almost like a black hole. And that's kind of what this map represents, is the pressures in terms of like a topographic kind of map. So that is a hole in the atmosphere. That's what that's representing with the low pressure system. So this, if we continue following this through, makes landfall, right about there. And this time frame is 2 a.m. because we're still in daylight time. So this 6Z is 2 a.m. Thursday, October 10th for the East Coast there. That's the landfall time. So I would say maybe start getting some preparations ready right now if you're anywhere along or in Florida or really anywhere in the Gulf of Mexico. Texas, Louisiana, that western half, Mexico, not really going to be too much of an issue because it looks like it's pretty much going a straight line across until it gets to Florida. Then it turns north. And now, thankfully, it doesn't come up into the northeast because it looks like a high-pressure system is in place, and that's acting kind of like a shield. So normally we talk about what's called a Rex block with that high and the low. So we have counterclockwise flow around the low pressure center, clockwise around the high. So we would see this figure 8 pattern that keeps everything in place. Well, this system is so strong, there's not even a chance for a Rex block to happen. It does, however, steer the system out to sea, so it kind of protects the northeast there. So not to say about the southeast, it looks like Florida and all those southeast coastline states could be in for a bit of a rough time. But specifically, it looks like Florida and Georgia there going into South Carolina. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, I would say that's going to be kind of the worst impact areas. So landfall was, not landfall yet, one frame more. There we go, 6Z. So that's between 0Z and 6Z, Thursday, October 10th. That's where it looks like landfall is going to be happening. And then if we advance one more frame, it moves across the state. I know it's a very thin area, but it pretty much moves across the state within a 6-hour time frame there. And then out to sea, but that is quite a lot of rain. So let's switch this up to the total accumulated precip. And let's run through this real quick here. So that band in there is in this. The yellows and the pinks, so that's between 6 at the outer and say 24. Well, it only goes up to 24, so that could be over 2 feet of rain dumped in that area right there. A lot of rain. So that's GFS. Let's take a quick peek here at the Euro. And on the Euro, it's fairly similar. So it starts fairly weak. It intensifies very quickly. There we go, 995. It follows almost the same path. And by here, where the National Hurricane Center was saying major hurricane, it does look like that black hole kind of scenario where this topographic map of the sky is showing that. And then this makes landfall right about there, it looks like. And that is 3Z Thursday. So this is between, again, the estimate that the GFS showed. So this is between 0Z and 6Z. So between 8 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday and 2 a.m. Thursday Eastern Time. So that's the time frame for landfall right there. And then it looks pretty intense again for Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. The high pressure, it's not acting as a blocking pattern here, going like that, keeping everything in place. It's just acting kind of like a shield, and this is so intense, it's just moving out to sea on its own, and then kind of dissipates. So this looks like the most intense part of the next few days there. So this is something definitely to keep an eye on, and I'll try and keep you updated as best as I can for this system in the Florida, Georgia, South Carolina region. So for the Northeast, it looks like here we're just really having some rain overnight Monday. Sunday looks fine. Monday, some overnight showers there. And then behind it, a little breezy, but that high comes in place. So, ooh, the 540 line, look at that, is dipping almost to New York City. So it looks like it's getting a little bit colder now. We're in October now. So that is something we would typically see. So that 540 line dips down, giving some showers, it looks like, overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. But then the high comes in. That high keeps us in a good area there because it's acting like a shield. So that's for Thursday into Friday. So by the time that Milton makes its way out, that high acts as a shield, keeping us dry, and then the next system, unrelated to the tropics, comes in for next Monday. So next Monday looks like it could be a bit of a stormy day, wet, cold, because that 540 line dips pretty far south. Again, not the freezing point line, but a good representation of the freezing point. And we're looking at the tight pressure gradient there, so it looks like it's going to be pretty windy. So a stormy looking day for next Monday in the Northeast. And then, very briefly over here, let's rewind. California. Specifically right around there, the San Francisco Bay Area. High pressure stays kind of in place. There is a little passing shower, it shows, but I honestly don't believe that. And nothing, still nothing. Maybe a little bit there into Northern California. This is Friday, but still nothing over the Bay Area. And nothing, maybe a little something that'll turn into. But again, that could be more for Northern California versus the Central Bay Area of California there. And I'm assuming this is going to show the same thing. We'll take a quick peek at the rain on the Euro real quick here, but I just want to see California. And for California, it looks like nothing's happening. Again, maybe some showers happening through the northern part of California up there. But for most of the state, nothing. And then on here, just very quickly, we'll switch this over to total accumulated precipitation. So by the end of this is showing right there, kind of the same spine we saw in the GFS. Up to 2 feet of rain dumped across Florida there. So that's something you definitely have to keep an eye on this week if you live anywhere in the southeast U.S.
All right, so for the southeast, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, it looks like it's going to be a pretty intense week. So I would say for right now, at least, start making some early preparations for a potential big storm and maybe have an evacuation plan ready to go. I will link also my list of how to prepare for a storm. I did a series of shorts on how to prepare for a storm. That was a hurricane heading up to the northeast. This will be a hurricane heading to the southeast, but it's the same concept. So I'll have that linked and make sure that you have that available for some information for you. But otherwise, I would just keep a weather eye to the sky and have something like your emergency weather radio ready in case something like the internet goes out and the cell phone system goes out. You can still turn these on, but definitely have something like your weather radio or some sort of emergency communication, as I allude to in my How to Prepare for a Storm series. And then again for the Northeast, little bits of showers next Monday. Looks a little cold and a little stormy, so uncomfortable, but it's kind of expected as we have this tossy-turny roller coaster of a season that is fall. We are in October, so it's getting colder. In October, you're going to see wet, rainy, and especially leaf-filled roads. So be mindful of that. As the leaves are falling and it's wet, it's much more slippery. So for motorcycles, I would say do not even attempt to ride over a road that is leaf covered. For a car, if you have to, be very careful just because it's very slippery. And then for California, and as for here in sunny California, sunny, cool breeze. It's actually really hot right now. Our highs were in the low to mid 90s today. This past week, we had highs around 100, which it sounds like it's normal for California. I'm in Central California. That is not normal. Normal's supposed to be around 80, which is still warm, but not 100. So we've had an unusual stretch of heat and a heat wave last week, and it's continuing through this weekend. But otherwise, fairly calm and fairly steady weather here. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the look at a couple different areas in the US for weather. If you want to get more weather updates, feel free to hit that subscribe button below and the little bell icon right next to that so you get notified whenever I upload a video like this or I go live. And I have not figured out a live schedule for what I'm going to do for live streams while I'm here, so just keep checking for that. All right, this is Chief Meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.